people start looking into what actually happened, I think that the future in terms of deal flow will not be highly affected. The treasury is still pretty strong. We have not lost any funds, and we are here more together than ever. So I see we can reconnect to the second question, which is how do we plan to rebuild the decentralized autonomous organization? So what happened is that we have taken a hit. The hit is that we have voted out Sifu, which now is not the treasury manager anymore, is not part of any of our multi-sign, and has no access to the treasury. I've taken a hit because I have not said to the community who he was, and the trust level of many of you has been reduced. And as you know, we have been together so much and so long, and there was a lot of belief in me, and this has created a snowball effect of investors deciding to leave Wonderland and selling their W memo. And this brings us here. We have had a vote in which, as I mentioned, after the situation has happened, so after the news broke out, there was a lot of pressure on me specifically, and I've been bombarded by all sorts of messages of people who I loved that completely renegated me for this reason. Other friends that told me very harsh things about not telling them about Sifu. And the community, or part of the community, went very, very strongly against my position, the position that I took. So I have talked with the team at that moment, and I thought that all hope was lost, and we have decided to create a vote to see if the community wanted to continue Wonderland or not. Because the promise of Wonderland has always been, first of all, that the backing price would have been defended. That what happened. I think that on a tech level, we have not used the best tools. We launched the limit orders with sushi, but the whole structure has took us unexpectedly under backing price, and that was one of the reasons why we had also the liquidation situation and all of that. So rebuilding the DAO is not something that I need to do. I have lost a lot of trust in this community, and I have reached out in multiple occasions to all of you, because this is a decentralized autonomous organization. So it's, of course, we have a governance framework which we need to take. I have made a mistake to override this framework because of all the events that unfolded so quickly, and not respecting it has created more confusion than anything. I think in retrospect, the better decision would have been made to slow down from the beginning, right after the vote of Sifu stays or goes, and use all the structure that we have in our advantage rather than panic and just override all the work that has been done to maintain the decentralization. Now, we see very clearly that there is a lot of value inside of Wonderland. There is a lot of people that know a lot of things about how to manage big companies, hedge funds, and so on. And in my contribution has always been to have like pretty crazy ideas, like more of a visionary type of contribution. But it's obvious to everyone that I'm not a great administrator, and this is why we have implemented structure in the forum to be able everyone to contribute in an ordered manner, and being able to always execute on what the people will is. And I am sorry that people misinterpreted my tweet of the other day. I truly believed at that time that the Wonderland experiment was over, especially having such a conflicted vote that then turned out to be not so conflicted, because people have voted to stay and maintain the brand of Wonderland. But at that time, as I mentioned, I believed strongly that based on all the FUD, all the messages, all the attacks, specifically social attacks against me, threats that I have received, that this was a lost cause. Now that I see that, on the other hand, the community has gathered as I requested, and I have been vocal about it, to move forward, it really enlightens me to see that it exists a future in which is not Daniele centric, but a future in which is Frog Nation centric, and it's very beautiful, in my opinion, and is what I really wanted out of this project. So I mentioned already in October, I think it was October, during the Avalanche House event, that the gamification and the Olympus DAO fork style APY and everything was a great idea for bringing new people to DeFi, and especially for raise funds for making bigger things. And this has resulted very clearly into right now having at disposal the largest treasury of all DeFi and one of the largest of all crypto. This has worked as intended. On the other hand, we are here now with all of these problems at hand, which is specifically how do we move forward, making sure that the voices are heard and this DAO is stronger than ever, that the community decides what it wants to be, and that the proposals that are out there gets elevated, discussed, analyzed by who is willing to contribute, making sure that these projects become much, much bigger than what it can be with just me leading it. So, do you know the status of our investments? BSGG, Crossos Ages, AVAX Liquidity Staking, and so on. This is one of the questions. So, BSGG status of an investment is as before. It's in the treasury. We have certain commitments that we need to do. So there is a lockup period for some of our token. We have to do the airdrop. This is something that is important. And I have been receiving a lot of questions about airdrop, like the when airdrop is a meme, but I also realized that like one of my mistakes is dragging over too long certain promises that I have made, specifically the one of the BSGG airdrop and the one of the revenue sharing. So this is very important that it needs to be executed as soon as possible while we are looking into the proposals in the forum and we are discussing them as the framework outlines. Cross of ages is we sent the investment, we paid, so I can request some more specifics on timelines and so on. The AVAX liquidity staking has been confirmed, and it just requires the payments to the team to join Wonderland and officially launch. Any plans to expand, like buying land in Sandbox or Decentraland? You were researching NFTs. Is this will lead you to the cross of ages investments? Any other plans with NFTs down the line? So here, I need to make sure that you understand that I am not the chief investment officer of Wonderland. I'm not the treasurer, so I do not directly always look at the investments. That was a Sifu job. On the other hand, of course, because of the investment in cross of ages and because of my personal interest, I want always to know more about everything that is happening that could be valuable for Wonderland and be able to contribute like everyone else into the discussion about investments. And I've been digging into the NFT space. If you look at my wallet, I've been flipping NFTs, trying to understand how all this world works, trying to understand if it's profitable or not, what are the issues there. As you know, like I'm a builder more than anything else, and I like to experiment to understand where we can bring improvements, and this is mainly my focus in general. Like, what do I see while using these products or buying, selling, trading, and investing and so on into the NFT space? Where do I see that is lacking certain product development, and where can I tap in to bring value to all the Frog Nation projects? This was also very specific to the Abracadabra new OTC markets that are ready to release. You mentioned the token with no dilution. Can you elaborate on that? Would we abandon the old method of raising capital and rely on investment profits? So right now, there are two proposals out in which I would like to put the spotlight on. We have a Wonderland 2.0 proposal that has been going through the correct path on the governance forum, which you should look into. And there is the professor proposal that gained traction, so we could say that is also going through the correct path on the governance framework, which is also talking about a new token. Like the whole reason why we made WMemo was, and we moved the liquidity out from Time MIM to WMemo MIM, was to stop the dilution. At the moment in which we stopped selling bonds, we basically stopped dilution. We have not been minting more time. So this we already have abandoned weeks ago, the own method of raising capital, because we, in our opinion, the team opinion, that time it was the opinion of specific of me and Sifu, we have confronted ourselves and we believe that the treasury had a perfect size to be able to invest, but also farm and create a good balanced amount of capital for this stage of the market. More capital would be very, very difficult to allocate and would not generate the same amount of value as the exact amount of capital that we have right now. especially with the focus on seed investments and trying to have a high multiplier while we are farming. And also farming, it's very limited. There is a lot of competition, so the amount of capital was just perfect. What are the plans going forward? Any thoughts on paying to get the website and docs updated? So the plans going forward is using the tools that we have in place. So because of all this drama that has been happening, we need to focus on using the governance platform efficiently. Our governance allows us to make sure that investors are not ripped off and that the path forward is decided altogether. Any thoughts on paying website and docs to update? Of course, like we have a big treasury. We can afford to make everything as it's supposed to be. But now the important is that we expand our team and we decide on which plan we are going to move forward, and I will support the frogs on what they decide. And I'm here to make sure that this governance and this transition from the Sifu era to the new era is strong and it's ordered. Is there any way to prevent whale manipulation? Lockup period, withdrawal limits, taxes, blah, blah, blah. I think before focusing on manipulation of the price, we need to focus on exactly how do we structure the DAO moving forward. And that's why I invite you all to go to the forum of Wonderland, look at the proposals to get an idea of what is happening outside of just the bubble of Daniele, and comment, discuss, because this is how our framework works. So you start a governance process, you send it into the forum in the general discussion, and you start posting it on the Discord so people can start discussing about it. If there is community support, that's why I was saying about the professor idea, then it has shown community support because it has been linked multiple times, even though it wasn't a general discussion of the forum section. Like, then it gets elevated into their FC template. So it's basically for comment. It's like a request that comments, people can start looking into it and makes edit, request edits, like have an opinion about it. Like it's very important. It's a very important process, and it needs to be that way. Like not everything is perfect, but as I can see on the proposals that came out, these are good proposals. I am impressed. And it's exactly, I'm not a great structuring person. Like I suck at structuring. I also very emotional person. Like and to be honest, like that's not my strength. That's why I'm very happy to rely on the community on doing these things. And in my opinion, it's going very well. We are showing very, very strong community and ideas here. And we know as the Frog Nation that we can come out of this with the new team, with the new structure, with everything very well. So in the proposals, there was mention of a 5-day period to find the path forwards, or else the treasury would be unwound regardless. No, no treasury will be unwound because we have voted to continue Wonderland. So the treasury is not getting unwound. What's the future of rebases? Rebases have stopped many weeks ago. So there is, it's still rebasing, but in reality, you should track WMemo because that's exactly what is the share of the DAO represented. Now we can move ahead and look at the Wonderland team questions about the team. who else is on the team besides you. So we have, there is me, there is Georgie that you have seen, there is Vitalik, that is dev also on the Popsicle side, that is working also on Wonderland. Then there is Wicked that manages all the governance proposals, and there is all the moderator community that you see here on Discord right now. What new position would Wonderland management add, and what's the budget? This depends all on the proposals that get passed. So basically what we are looking now, we are at the stage of looking at the proposals, discussion stage. I will be involved. Everybody needs to be involved if they want to. And if they care about being involved, they should. And at that stage, then we will move forward with a new vote to decide which is going to be the direction to take. There is still time for sending new proposals and new discussion, and nobody said that there won't be like a merger of multiple proposals or so on. So we are at a very early stage right now in this process, and there is a lot to discuss. I have seen, as I mentioned, very good and valuable input there, and a very good path forwards. So I'm really looking deeply into it, and you should. What will your role in Wonderland be short term and long term? So right now, my role is as strong as possible to make sure, as I am the person that have the most eyes on me, on what I do, on what I propose, on what I say, is to make sure that proposal gets highlighted and gets shared and gets discussed. This is my first important role here. The second is, as we have a multi-sign, is to find more multi-signers to make sure that the governance is implemented and the security of the treasury is improved as much as possible. What is my role long term? Well, I mean, my role has always been more on the strategic side. That's why only recently people have seen me more inside of the Wonderland Discord. The team has been more heavily focused on the treasury management, bond management, things that were out of my scope. I'm more of, as I mentioned, of a visionary builder type of guy. So it's very hard to tell what will be my role in the longer term. What I know right now is that the recent events, I'm extremely tired and exhausted, and I might take, after the transition period and all of the things, I will likely take a break in general from everything. So we will see. But for now, I'm definitely here hammering this down, making sure that the governance process is followed and that everything gets executed as it should be. Have you thought of doing an AMA weekly to keep the Frog Nation up to date? Same idea as a weekly scrum or sprint review on each ongoing subject. For now, that's what I'm doing. So you will find me way more active on Discord. I have decided to take a break from Twitter because it's become way too toxic and it doesn't really represent so much what the community wants. So there is so much of external ideas that are not very relevant to what the token holders. So yeah, very it's a good idea. After so many bad things and with so much responsibility, how are you? I'm okay. I'm okay. I would prefer if I don't get bombarded, but I kind of throw this on top of myself, and I realize that I need to step up, keep my chin up, and and make sure that everybody goes out of this situation in the best way possible. So we have a lot of different opinions that are happening, and you might know how much I care about everyone, even though sometimes even the ones that have sent me death threats sometimes can even understand that. And I believe that in forgiveness. So I'm here trying to figure out and asking you also to help me here on understanding how we can move forward, and with all as a humble person. And I have seen that there is so many of you that are so valuable here that really I'm really proud of this community. What lesson have the board members, Daniele, learned from this? I think that we already responded to that. What would be your involvement with Popsicle and Abracadabra moving forward to accomplish the greater vision of my greater vision of DeFi? I make sure that things that I have mentioned gets delivered, and I will always be there to advise and bring ideas and so on. So that is as much as I have done so far, but less on the front line, because this whole situation in the last, even before the Sifu gate and everything, has started to take a real toll on my mental health. Who are the individual on the multi-sign? So we have Riccardo Spagni, me, we have Georgie and Vitalik. Two multi-signer have resigned even before Sifu was out. The moment that Sifu news came out, both Stani and Vagarian completely resigned and abandoned our multi-sign. That's why I'm a couple of days looking into replacing them to enlarge the security of the protocol. What's the management team structure moving forward? We will see based on the proposals that are out there. What has stopped you from getting more people to help you? Money, trust, and well, it's very hard to find people in general in this business. There is one part of people that are trustable but are already working on other things. There are other people that we don't know and need to prove themselves. I think this whole situation comes out to be a very good moment in which we will find within our community who is there for this protocol to shine. And this has happened also to Andrew Byrne. It's a very similar situation. The moving forward and stepping up of other people, and I've seen so many of you taking your time, energy, and really thinking about what to do, and it's very good. So what stopped me from getting more people? Definitely not money. I had a lot of money, but definitely trust the component is very hard. And to be honest, seeing it look like this when I have trusted Sifu, it's complex. Trust is a very complex thing, and in a way has brought us to this point in time, right? And you can see how much in reality decentralization is something that we can rely upon in the moment in which things get bad. And fortunately, we have not lost funds. There have been FUD about Tornado Cash, all this kind of stuff, but I have run myself a lot of looking into all the transaction, etc., from from Sifu, there has been, I haven't noticed anything. I'm looking into doing a more formal audit from a third party, so just it shouldn't be a burden of Wonderland. It should be something that I make over time, just to make sure that nothing has been taken away from you, but I'm pretty confident it's not. So, how come the leadership on Wonderland isn't more diverse? Well, I founded this protocol to showcase the world that people could gather around the crazy idea of creating the most powerful, the largest, and the biggest treasury and community in crypto. And I think so far we succeeded. Just we need to now start to structure, because I have made the mistake on scale. It's mean like the thing has outscaled me. That's why now we are in this position, and that's why now it's a call to action for people to scale it with us. Sifu related question: does Sifu still have access to Treasury Wallet? No. What is your relationship with Sifu now? We do not have any business together. Will there be an AMA with Sifu? I don't know. I can ask him. Airdrop question: when is the BSGG airdrop? The BSGG airdrop will happen. I'm looking into it actually from today. I was looking, and it's one of the things that I need to maintain, because if I make a promise, I need to maintain. So this was a promise even before the scandal. It's been the reason why the airdrop hasn't come yet is because Sifu was very, very focused on making sure that everyone gets their airdrop, because the airdrop was going to be like the same for everybody. So the snapshot has been taken multiple times. There was some differences, so that was the reason. But at this point, I want to make sure that this gets done, and I'm on top of that, and we'll make sure that happens as soon as possible. Will there be a WMM airdrop time holders? No, this has not been voted or seen. I'm not going to take this choice on my own. Liquidations questions. Are you still considering some sort of monetary compensation for frogs who were liquidated well under the backing price? This is something that regards myself. I can tell you what is my thought process there. So there has been people that get liquidated under me. So I think that I'm looking right now at the current backing price, and I want to pay back the spread if you borrowed, so you are at the same level as everybody else, right? This is what I'm looking for. The time frame is after everything gets resolved and a proposal gets pushed forward on Wonderland. Voting questions. Is there a better way to fend off sharks trying to take over Wonderland's treasury by accumulating voting power at these low prices? Or are the frogs sticking together through the only way? Yeah, it's the only way. So you need to, if you look at the amount of people and money that have voted, and you look at the top holders, there is so many people that have not voted. So I will go quick over these questions, because I sent money to the team for distributing Phantom, like a small Phantom airdrop, to all the people that is holding WMM on Phantom, so you can bridge back. If you are right now with WMM on Phantom, please bridge it back, because we need your vote. And I personally paying for you to make that transaction. So please take the time and bridge it back. there is going to be some time for you to do it, of course, but as I'm asking now, if you're listening, do it as soon as possible. Anyway, all the proposals are in discussion phases. I think that you have time to do it, but just do it, please. Like, it's very important that if you know someone or whatever, you really gather everyone to be involved with the governance process. So whatever vote will come next, that will be to pass one of the community proposals about moving forward, we need to gather as many votes as possible so there is a straight path forward and we do not destroy this community. So the community needs to act. Can we move to a more quadratic electoral or balanced voting system that can be more fair, like what you proposed before? Here we are talking about money. I have thought a lot, for example, about on-chain governance. I think it's a path that we can take in a later stage, and I've been looking at a solution for this. But if you consider right now the amount of money that the Treasury is holding, it's huge. It's a massive amount of money. It's the biggest. And you consider how much money is required to take control of this Treasury if there was on-chain voting at the current price of WMemo, then it's a concern to me. That's why right now we don't have it. And if so, it would have been a good thing to have from the beginning because it scaled together with protocol, but it was not available on Avalanche. So there was nothing that we could do. So now we are here, and I do not think that this vote for moving forward should be more quadratic. I think that most of the money is in the hands of frogs and smaller frogs, as you can tell by looking at the holder list. So you just need to think that we are such a large community that we are larger than many cities, which is crazy, right? So we need to be as focused as possible on making sure that people receive the message, that receive the next vote when it will be, that are informed about the vote, and that you rally towards what is your opinion. How can we moderate and manage the proposals in a way that can keep things out of the Wonderland 2.0 medium has some good points. Well, right now we have, I think, a very strong framework, and Wonderland 2.0 is using it, so I don't see why. Automation comes with on-chain governance. Right now, we are at a point in which we can be attacked, and the Treasury can be attacked. So we need to be very, very careful on what we forward till there is a repricing and so on of the asset. FTM ETH chain holders are not able to vote snapshots. Any fixes? They need to breach back. I sent the money back them just to help them. And we also made the mini airdrop to pay for. Don't forget. Revenue share questions. How do you envision this would be implemented? So the original thinking was to just have a staking contract with WMemo and stream them there. Now I've seen other type of proposals, so we will see. Treasury questions. Is the Treasury still generating revenue? Yes, we have LPs and this generating revenues. We have unwinded the position on UST. The reason was that in that moment there was some concerns about the UST peg, so we totally rolled it out, and we took back our initial. How important is it that those handling the treasury funds be doxed and checked? Yeah, at this point it's important. what can I say? Like, look at the shit show that happened. Like, it needs to be. There is no other possibility. Has the Treasury ever been in a position to sell WMO time backing on any exchange? I don't really understand this question, but Treasury never sold W. Any plans for more buybacks and burns to help with the current price? I think that governance now need to decide if we are still going to do the buybacks or not, and in the proposals, and what we are going to do with the rage quit options. I saw that both had rage quit options, so we need to be very clear on the path forward. And with rage quit options, there is no need for buybacks. We can discontinue buybacks. We did officially discontinue buybacks at the moment till new proposals are out. It is definitely possible to organize monthly progresses or reports on the Treasury. It will be the duty of whoever is in charge of it. How do we generate revenue through such as leverage stable farming and not get liquidated in the Treasury via coordinated attack? We need to build automation. There is no other way. Like I've been looking in. Think that like even for myself, that what happened to me, like I really started looking clearly on automating the unwinding and winding and reducing certain position. I think that also the professor mentioned something like this, and this can be a great product for Wonderland, and why not? Can we get the list of specific on-chain transactions in the investment DAO that's made third party, like bet swap, cross the aging, wormhole? Yeah, sure. Sol on-chain. Leverage questions. Will the W memo cauldron open up in the future? No, not now. Maybe. What is your opinion on the W memo pricing since we turn off leverage and stop buyback? I don't think it has anything to do with the leverage. I think it has to do with the confusion, the miscommunication on my side, and the Sifu situation. I don't think that all the price was leverage. Question. Professor's Medium post. In the Discord chat, you mentioned you read the post. I did. I did read his, and I did read the other Wonderland 2.0. I think they're both good proposals, and I'm looking forward of knowing what you think about them. I found it pretty interesting that the professor said that I am autistic, but apart of that, I share a lot of things that he said, as much as I shared a lot also on the more broader plan on the Wonderland 2.0 that allows for, I think, more open discussion on some points. Like there is a lot of opinionated stuff on professors' posts, like for example, 20% of revenue sharing. Like I don't know how it came out with that. Like I think we need to dig it deeper. Treasury Manager CFO's question. You mentioned Harry Yen, the Skyhopper, as possible interest. Still a possibility? Yes, I've spoken Harry and I've spoken with the Skyhopper. So they are both here, ready to take that place, and they have been, they are friends and they're here. Whichever turns out to be the path forward, definitely we will be able to discuss with them. Can you give us some background on them, what you think their investment strategy would be? Harry Ye is a way more traditional directional investor, is not very strong in DeFi, in my opinion, or farming specifically, but is very strong in big directional bets. Skyhopper is a very strong arbitrager, is very strong non-directional trader. So they actually complement pretty well. So might be interesting to can put them together. Can you give us some background? Okay, so this is I know the Skyhopper from NoBTC that we did. Him, Sam Bankfried, the Whalepool, and so on 2 years ago. Harry, yeah, I know him because of his involvement in Phantom. Exit options questions. With everything that happened with miscommunication around the backing price, there are some who want to cut ties with the project. Yes, I can see that very clearly. So I still believe that giving a rage quit option for people who do not share the next steps of Wonderland, wherever will be that direction, must. How would that be implemented? And it wouldn't be abused. Definitely the idea of taking off the LP for a certain period of time, so not having like liquidity on our side to trade it is the idea and is optional. Abracadabra proposal question. Can you give details what Abracadabra is trying to accomplish? Cost and benefits and so on. So in all the things that I've looked into, one of the things that I was focused on was how do we regain a unique deal with good directionality for the frogs on Wonderland within the ecosystem that we have, because so we can manage a good deal with fundamentals that by clearly could improve the price action of a certain asset acquired. And the idea of Wonderland investing in Abracadabra or unwinding, merging, was that by combining the treasury and the protocol of Abracadabra, we could have gained a lot of directionality back into the for the investors of Wonderland. The idea is that right now, one of the biggest situation that Abracadabra have is that it's very dilute. So it's issuing a lot of tokens to maintain the liquidity on curve, to pay for the LPs, to pay the bribes, and so on. On the other side, we have Wonderland that can anticipate money or give Abracadabra money to avoid spending all these rewards that don't go to create any long-term holding of assets that generate those that value. So this was a very simple line of thought. We can buy our own liquidity with Abracadabra, then the coin is not inflationary anymore. All the rest of the treasury that the coin has, or all the rest of the issuance that it has over the other 3 years and a half, is not needed anymore. Then the fully diluted value does not exist because we don't need spell issuances anymore, and a repricing needs to happen at that point. With the addition of the potential growth of the value of the treasury that has been invested. So this was my line of thought in there. And I still think that we can talk about this, but at this point, after we have a new treasurer and we have a clear path forward. Now, other questions. Frog University. I think it's a great idea, and I think we should absolutely figure out a budget to do it, because right now we have such a great community, and I think there can be so much potential to teach all our community how to use DeFi, how to use all the products even outside of our Frog Nation ecosystem, really create value for them. How can little frogs and Tad support Wonderland? Go out in the forum, make sure that people vote, talk to each other. when there is misinformation, call them out. Like, go out and make sure that nobody can treat you like you are the last of the food chain. Like, we are not the last of the food chain. We are the fucking strongest community in crypto, and we need to stand up in this process. We need to show everybody outside, all the people that are listening here that are not from Wonderland, that we are capable of creating the best decentralized autonomous organization that has ever been, because of you, because you make it, not because Daniele is here and not going anywhere at this point, like this. But Daniele not have all the answers. Like, I think the collective have, though, and is showing. So this is exciting, very exciting, and it's really forward looking. Can we have an audit from a reputable company and get to the bottom of the FUD and discrimination against and others, whales, blah, blah, blah? Yeah, so I would like to take a look at, like it's really crazy. Like, sometimes when all these things happen, journalists told me actually very, very interesting thing. Like, because this outcome of Sifu being who he is so crazy. Like, it's such a twist plot of a movie, like almost like a Netflix. Then it allows any theory out there to be credible, because it's so crazy that at the end, at this point, anything becomes credible. But believe me, like, all of this FUD about me is going to go away very quickly, because the only thing that I had was not saying for a few weeks, for a month about Sifu, not doxing him. That's about it. I have never done anything else bad. So it's going to move forward. We can get any company to do audits. I mean, you can propose this in the governance forum and you can be paid. Or if you want me to pay it, reach out to tell me what company you want that audits me, and get bottom, if you really think that it's worth it. Did you actually make an offer to buy out Squid DAO Treasury? Well, yes, I did. Is the calculator and runway coming back? No. There we go. Alice, do we have any other type of question? Alice? She fell asleep, I think. I was boring as fuck. Usually I'm less boring, probably. Anyway, thank you everyone for joining me here. I'm looking forward to you following up on the forum. I will be also there. I'm now very active and less active Twitter. I'm actively looking for anyone that is reputable in the crypto space, especially in DeFi, to join me, helping me extending the multi-sign. So please, if you are and you're listening in here, please reach out. If I didn't reach out to you because I have a ton of messages, I will be reaching out to everyone till I have the best multi-sign out there possible to ensure that anything that is coming out of the forum will be what gets implemented. Thank you very much, and I wish you a great evening.